deletions, modifications to the agenda?
Under the staff report, Your Honor, I've got a quick update on the flood system reaccreditation. And we'll be waiting on Superintendent Ehlers to he said he'd get her as soon as he could from his other meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hansi, second by Mr. Dahl. I think we can get through the consent and we'll get to Liz right away. So, we're thinking about moving her up. I think we can get through this stuff pretty quick. So, that sounds good. You look fuzzy, Robert. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed. And the motion passes. Number 3, approval of minutes. Regular meeting, November 13, 2012.
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Bunky, second by Mr. Colvinson. Questions, comments, or otherwise? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes. Number 4, appearance of interested citizens. Appearance of interested citizens. Seeing none this evening, we will move on to number 5, notices, communications, announcements. Let's move on to consent agenda number 6. Consent agenda approve verified claims and fund summary report for reporting period ending November 26, 2012. Go ahead.
So, I had a question here about the stump removal, $2,400 for the stump removal. How many trees is that being talked about, or?
That was already done. There were, what, 5?
And you were by Steve Kingsley's?
No, these are on the levy project. These would be covered under the levy thing.
No, I'm sorry, 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.
These were the trees that we took down and then found out later the Corps requires us to remove the root ball and recompact. That's why Blitz had to come back and do it.
So, all of that is done and compacted with clay and...
And reseeded.
So we got one more tree to go there, though?
There is still one tree left.
Kingsley, over there across the street from him, that's still standing, isn't it? The huge tree. That's on the toe.
There's 2 trees there. There's 2 trees there. One has to go, right, Jeff?
The big one stays, the small one goes. There you go. Well, the small one goes if you tell me.
Well,
We'll get to that.
Cross that bridge later, Jeff.
Yeah. We're still in a Thanksgiving happy place.
No, I want to skate through New Year's. So.
Okay, no questions.
Any other questions on consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Mr. Dahl, second by Mr. Hansi. Questions, comments, or otherwise? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion passes. Number 7, public hearing. There is none this evening. Number 8, general business. 8A, visit from Elizabeth Weifel, senior attorney with Flaherty and Hood, representing the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, to analyze the results of the recent election and discuss legislative strategies for 2013. Please come and join us at the table.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council members.
Nice to meet you. After
Nice
calling you for 2.5 years and friending you on Facebook.
Yeah, it's good to meet you in person, and nice to meet the rest of you as well. I am handing out 2 things. It is our legislative report from 2012, and then our visit and legislative update. We try to, at least every year, sometimes it's every other year, get out and visit our cities. Typically that happens during the summer, but we had a situation this year where we actually had 2 staff members move on to different jobs. So some of our visits got pushed back a little bit, so the mayor and your city administrator very nicely allowed us to push this to after the election. I'm not going to cover everything that was in the legislative report because it happened 6 months ago, but I do encourage you, if you have any questions regarding stuff I don't cover, our names are in here, just contact us. And quite frankly, if you ever have questions during the legislative session, you're always welcome to contact us by email or phone. We're always happy to answer questions. I know that I do the environmental lobbying for the coalition, and the biggest way that I actually get information regarding what's impacting our cities is because members call us. So please do keep those lines of communication open. Very thankful that you allowed us to come down and speak. Very happy to have Rushford as a member of our organization. As you may know, the CGMC is an organization in about 79, 80 cities that bounces up and down a little bit. Actually, it's been on the ups. We just had somebody else join last week. I'm blanking on which new city it was. I think Fairmont just rejoined. And we work on cities that unite Greater Minnesota, primarily local government aid and property tax relief, economic development, environmental transportation, and then land use and annexation issues. It's going to be a big year. I probably have all noticed by now that we had a significant election a couple weeks ago. How that will play out for Greater Minnesota will remain to be seen. What we did see as a result of redistricting is that there is a big shift in representation towards the metro area. So it's going to become really even more important that our rural legislators from both parties work together if we want to continue to protect sort of the property tax relief package in LGA and other aspects. It's a budget year. Every first half of the biennium is when they decide the budget year. This year they are, making assertions about trying to deal with a structural budget deficit. Let's hope that happens, but it will. Again, LGA is going to enter into that discussion. It's going to be a critical year for local government aid and for economic development. Then the next page you can see, I just kind of put out there in graphic form what happened to our delegation. The Greater Minnesota, portions of it have lost population, but primarily what we've seen is actually that the exurbs and the suburbs have just grown more quickly than Greater Minnesota has, and as a result, we have fewer legislative seats. Gone from 62 to 57 in Greater Minnesota, and then the metro area has grown from 72 to 77. You really see that in what we see happening in the caucuses. The DFL Senate Majority Caucus, who just took over, when the Republicans had control, it was almost evenly split between rural Minnesota and the metro area. That's partially because Minneapolis and St. Paul don't have any GOP legislators. That's just the way they are. But right now the Senate Majority Caucus is 36% Greater Minnesota, 23% urban, 41% suburban, and the House majority looks very similar.
Urban, Minneapolis, St. Paul, then?
Yeah, that includes it. Urban is basically Minneapolis and St. Paul, and that's why you see a bit of a shift there. Again, there was no, in the House either, just no GOP members for St. Paul and Minneapolis. They do pick some up in the suburbs. But, so we are seeing a shift in that representation. And that will become really important in discussions of a lot of things. The local government aid, this divide may or may not be as big, it depends on how it's formulated. Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Greater Minnesota are your biggest recipients of local government aid, and that's why over the last several years, one of the things that the coalition has made a deliberate attempt to do is working with Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Duluth to make sure that we are working together to protect the local government aid, because every once in a while you'll hear legislators of both parties from Greater Minnesota say, well, we'll just get rid of it for Minneapolis and St. Paul. The challenge with that is if you do that, you can see what it looks like from this pie charts. You take it away for that area, and it's going to be harder and harder to defend for Greater Minnesota. So we're going to continue to work with them on that. What we do see is we are seeing a lot of new legislators. So one of the really important aspects of this is going to be educating them on local government aid. And, it was a program that was created in 1974, and I think a lot of people have lost focus of why it was put in place. Sometimes you'll hear from people who say, it was just for small cities, it was just for, police, and that's it, and other things. And it really actually was part of the Minnesota miracle. One of the things that we are going to be focusing on, and the little graphic there, and then I put the handout here that we're going to be actually using with legislators, is about the Minnesota City-State Partnership. And really gonna be something that we're gonna be working with our cities to help emphasize to our legislators.